On this episode, from Crested Butte to Moab. Last time, on my solo dirt road journey from Crested Butte, Colorado to Moab, Utah, I wrapped up my search for the lost pup who was just dead set on staying lost. Her sudden disappearance had me conducting a full-on search by air, dirt bike, and even rappelling down the side of a massive cliff.
Falling from here onto this shelf.
All of this, solo. Without any luck finding her and finally getting confirmation she hadn't fallen off the cliff next to us, it was time to move forward on our journey to Moab. In this episode, we make our way from Delta to Nule, Colorado, on a series of dirt roads and trails covering nearly 70 miles in the course of 2 weeks. We make our way through narrow trails, cutting some branches as needed and stacking rocks when required. Blazing the trail through the night, once for fun, and the other when I realized we had set up camp in a corner of unmarked private land, and immediately had to move camp in the middle of the night, which led us on an adventure down a trail that seemed to become more and more overgrown.
Kind of getting into the weeds on this one, aren't we, Ruger?
And finally coming to a point where I realize I should turn around before getting the ambulance completely stuck. A slow, desolate, and lonely march through the wilderness. On day 3, we moved from our first camp spot, which was only about 10 miles from Delta. Ruger had found a dead pig and rolled in it, which was not only disgusting, but it also cost me about 3 days worth of water. It was time to leave that old spot behind and move up the road. If I had stayed, Ruger certainly would have rolled in that old pig again. Sometimes you just really can't understand dogs. But being that I live in this thing full time, I had work to do, and I didn't want to spend a big chunk of my day traveling and searching for a new spot. That stuff can easily eat into your time. Packing, unpacking, leveling out, it just takes time. So a short adventure would do the trick, and that's how we ended up on this side trail. Just a quick look at the maps showed me this trail, which was unmarked, and appeared to head to another cliffside camp spot. It was narrow, but nothing that we couldn't handle. Then we found it, our camp, for the next few days. On day 4, I realized I'd made a pretty big mistake. I'd already used the bag of dog food I thought I had stuffed away in the truck for Ruger. Basically, Ruger wasn't going to have enough food to get to the next resupply point, and he wasn't going to be happy about that. And this is where the dirt bike comes in as the deployable vehicle, the handy-dandy grocery getter. By the way, I don't always pin it like this, but in this case I just put on some new gearing on the bike and I really wanted to test out the RPM and see what it did at around 60 to 80 miles an hour. And of course I had to test the torque in 4th gear. I'm pretty happy with the 1448 gearing for dual sport riding, just a tad higher cruising speed compared to my 1451 sprocket set.
Hey, buddy.
The next few days was nothing special. Sitting around camp, working on videos, and a whole list of other really cool stuff for this channel. The time spent looking for the lost pup had put me a few days behind my calendar, and this was time to catch up. Not a soul came by, and there wasn't a single distraction. Enter the flow state. By day 8, it was time to pack everything up and get the dirt bike back onto the rack, which proved to be just a little difficult this time. This is about the only situation I wish I didn't have a lift on the truck.
All right, I think it's time to keep moving forward. Here we are, back to the main road.
If I had wanted to get from Delta to Nule just by gravel road, I could have done that, but where'd the fun in that be? So instead, we're headed to a parallel trail that looks to be quite a bit tougher. How tough? I have absolutely no idea, but we're gonna find out.
Any minute now, we should be hitting our first waypoint, and that would be for Cottonwood Road. We're gonna take that for like another mile or so, and then we're actually gonna turn off on a section of trail. There it is, Cottonwood Road, 504. This is also one of the areas on the map that I saw some dispersed camping, and sure enough, Ruger, no, we're not doing that. Looks like we got some cattle up here. They're already running pretty quick. So Onyx says there's a spring down here somewhere, and I've actually never really looked on Onyx for water. So I'm gonna see if we can find this little spring that they have on the map. Whoa, whoa, look at that, there it is. All sorts of cattle coming through here.
Onyx did say there was a spring here, and look at that. We got fresh water right here. Kind of curious where this spring came from, so we're gonna walk up a little bit and follow this pipe.
Interesting, just goes right into the ground right here. And since I haven't washed my hair in a few days, I'm just gonna dunk it in here.
It's cold. And since we found the spring, we went ahead and topped off on water, then got back to the road.
Okay, I think this is it. Main road, my road. Starting to look a little rutted. Crossover. All right, it looks like we found a good spot for the next few days. So yeah, we're just gonna post up here. Gonna get some work done, work on the website, work on making some more videos, all that fun stuff. Cinematic. Ruger, no. I'm just laying on the ground here. These cows just, they just hang around. They've been here for like an hour now. They've just been looking at us the whole time. Like, guys, don't you have anything better to do?
And this is what I do when I'm out here. I work, I film, I edit, I'm planning future projects. I still get a balance in though. I hike, I get on my dirt bike, do some fun stuff here and there, but the vast majority of my time is spent working because that's the place that I'm at in life. If I'm gonna do the things that I want to do, well, I gotta make it happen. So I've been in the same spot for the last several days and, well, I just finished up editing and uploading my last YouTube video, so I think I'm going to do something kind of interesting that most people say is a bad idea, but I'm going to do some nighttime overlanding. By the way, if you guys want a really good camp table, don't buy this one. Same thing with this one. This is just one of those cheap Amazon chairs that I got for a Christmas gift, and it's just a really cheesy deal. The only way that I've gotten this thing to actually hold up is by using a vice grip on it to keep it from falling apart while I'm using it. I'll say having it actually get compacted down to something this small is super nice. Camp is completely cleaned up and we're gonna go ahead and hit the trail. It's not dark yet, but I think that we'll get there. I don't really know how far we're gonna go tonight. We reached a parting in the road, which means that the main road is right up here because I've been checking my maps.
that's the road we need to be on. Okay, so Onyx just told me that there is a spring somewhere over here. So I'm gonna see if there's a spot to camp up here for the night, and then tomorrow we can go ahead and see if we can fill up on some water. This looks like a good spot to camp for the night. I think we're ready to turn the truck off. Looks like good a spot as any. Okay, so I had just woken up. It's about 5:45 in the morning, and then this guy rolls in about 15 minutes later. I turned on all my lights and he actually backed up, but looks like he's a hunter, and it's the beginning of hunting season, so this is kind of typical. All right, this is where we woke up this morning. It is definitely fall coming into winter. It is kind of crazy. Got water just flowing right out of the mountain. It's nice and clean. Looking at the spring a little bit more, I'm not going to fill up here just because, well, my hose isn't long enough, my extension cord isn't long enough, and I'm not going to spend the entire morning going back and forth with 5-gallon buckets.
Now it was time to head out of these mountains and finally head into Nule. It had been 15 days, and most of that had been alone. I was ready to get into a town, see other people, get more water, get fuel, get fresh sheets and fresh clothes. As much as I craved to get back to civilization, there was something about being out here that was just peaceful. I know that once I reach Nule, I'll probably want to leave just as fast as I get there.
Whoa, look at that! We are back on paved road. Man, is this supposed to be downtown? It doesn't really look like downtown. All right, this is the actual main road here. Grocery store. I think we might have to drive a little farther to get anything. Okay, I did not realize just how small Nule was, so we're gonna go head down to the next town. It's not far away. That was weird. Most of the businesses in Nule were closed. There was an entire abandoned school, like a decent sized school. So I wonder what started this town, because it's dying.
Then we made it to Naturita, which wasn't that much larger, but there were definitely people here. The town hall was a shack from the 1800s. It had what appeared to be a volunteer fire department. Nothing opened till 11 a.m., at least. The market was the family market, and there were plenty of abandoned buildings.
So remember when I said that one town in Nule seemed like it had completely died? Well, let's see here. Nule played a role in the uranium boom and helped provide U.S. government with uranium in the 1930s. Super interesting.
We stocked up on groceries, then stopped by the only travel center in town. Filled up on fuel and water, which was right in front of the convenience store for 10 cents a gallon. I can't believe they had me parked right in front of their front doors. And as you can tell, Ruger was working real hard. Then there was the laundromat, where the owners really believed in hands-off passive income.
This is one of the most disgusting laundromats I've ever been to.
I cleaned every inch of the ambulance and put on a fresh pair of sheets and bedding. And now the ambulance is clean and ready to go for another 2 weeks. And before I left Naturita, I was definitely going to go in and get a good burger. And now for our last stop.
One thing I'm looking for, that's my keys. Okay, so we're gonna go down to the river, and if it looks nice and clear, we're gonna jump in, because that just sounds really nice. Haven't done that in like 2 weeks. Look at that little guy.
And now it's time to get back on the road on our final push to Moab. This next section of trail was supposed to be the most difficult yet. Alright guys, so I'm in the ambulance right now, and this is post-production, so this is editing the video. Right now I'm at about 26 minutes into this thing, and I just realized that there's no way I'm going to be able to fit all of this into one single video. It's going to end up being about 50 minutes long. So the whole thing about accidentally camping on private property, finding a trail in the middle of the night and pretty much bushwhacking it, and going farther down the trail that leads into Moab and we pretty much got stuck, so we had to turn around. Well, that's all going to need to be in the next episode so I can make these a reasonable length. And just so you guys have an idea of what I'm working with here, we could go like this for pretty much ever. Let me see if I can zoom out on camera. Okay, see all of those? Those are individual little clips. What I'm saying here is I have about 21 hours into this video just in editing. That's not filming, that's not planning, that's not transferring stuff or going through footage. That's 21 hours of sitting here on this computer editing. So if you guys want to help support the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon so you get notified when that next video does come out. And if you do want to really help support the work that I'm doing here and you want to continue watching these videos, well then consider joining on Patreon. It's $15 a month for the first tier. You get access to specialized content that's just for you guys. It's a raw, uncut video. And if you want to support a little bit more, then I do a monthly call with all those members. So yeah, check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.